Welcome everyone to Fast Lane Live. We're here to talk about tonight's Slide Job Racing League race from Atlanta. Good evening, I'm Adam Coon, and joining me on JCTV tonight is Josh Coppernoll himself. How you doing tonight, Josh?
Tell you, I'm doing pretty good. Looking forward to this live edition of Fastlane. Something different.
Yeah, it's exciting, and a little exciting is what the race we're going to see later tonight, and something else a little exciting that we've been working on for a little while, and something before we get into our pre-race coverage of the Fast Lane 200 at Atlanta. We have some news to break, Josh.
Yeah, I'm actually really excited for this upcoming Friday, just a few days from now, the 31st. We are having a Dirt Invitational. So all three of the leagues that we cover on JCTV, the MF Racing Design Slide Job Racing League, on Tuesdays, the DI9 Designs NAOR series that we see on Fridays, and the BSR ITP on Truck series that we see on Saturdays. If you race in those series, you're invited to come out, and I'm looking forward to that one. It's Dirt Invitational, like I said. We're taking the dirt street stocks around the Dirt USA International Speedway. Um, it's going to be exciting, and it's going to be, of course, broadcasted on JCTV.
Yeah, and it's going to be fun for us to watch in the booth, you and I. We're going to have a lot of fun, I think, watching those guys sling around that racetrack, 3/4 mile dirt track. USA Speedway, pretty popular track in iRacing too. Josh, how much experience? I know you're not going to be racing Friday night, but how much experience do you have around there personally, and what are we in for store this week?
So the one thing about iRacing is when you get an iRacing account, all the content that comes with an iRacing account is enough to get you out of your rookie license, whether it's for oval, dirt oval, um, road, or dirt road, which rallycross style. So um, one of the tracks for the rookie level is USA, the Dirt USA International, and so I have a little bit of experience around there, not a ton, but it probably is the track that I've spent the most on with dirt. Um, it's it's not a track like Eldora or some of the other tracks, Knoxville, um, that really high speed dirt tracks, but it's a track I think that we're gonna see a lot of fun. Still a lot of guys sliding around, especially with these dirt street stocks. I think it's still gonna be no just walk in the park for these guys.
No, absolutely. And as we still got people signing up, we're still working out the format, but we're going to have heat races as well. That's going to play a factor into what we see in the show Friday night, I'm sure. Speaking of that, still having people sign up. If anyone's watching that competes in our leagues on, like you mentioned, Tuesdays, Fridays, or Saturdays, please sign up and come have fun with us this Friday during the off season for a couple of the leagues. And that's really why we wanted to get this started and have another show doing on this off season and do something else before these seasons ramp up next month.
Yeah, I'm really excited for it to happen. It's something you and I have been talking about behind the scenes for a little bit, and I'm I'm really looking forward to this one.
Yeah, so anyone who wants to participate, 8 o'clock practice is going to go live and then broadcast 8:45 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be Josh and I broadcasting that one, and we're going to be in for quite a show beginning at 9 o'clock for the races. What do you think's going to happen, Josh, through those heat races? Do you think any contact could carry over all night into the main event?
I think so. The fact that it's an invitational event, it's something that's out there for fun. I think these guys are gonna have fun with it, but be a little bit competitive as well. It's bragging rights to say I was a part of this race. I did what it took to get the best finish and for the winner ultimately win. So I think absolutely the heat races are going to be just as competitive as the main event.
And you mentioned the bragging rights. This won't be the first dirt race on JCTV, just for fun, really. And we have seen chaos break out at the end of that race that I'm mentioning, at least. And sure, we're going to see some a little bit this Friday.
Yeah, and you're talking about the Bird Bowl, which happened in 2020, um, and that was at Eldora using, I want to say it was the 410s, 410 wing sprint cars. That's honestly my only experience with calling a dirt race. Um, so I've got quite a bit to learn about dirt racing myself. But I've started to watch it a little bit more, and it's a blast. That's for sure.
And going back to our main topic here tonight, I think one race that is going to be a blast is going to be these Xfinity cars around New Atlanta, Josh. It's not the first time we've seen one of these races here on JCTV in the last couple months.
Yeah, the newer Atlanta, drives like a super speedway, Daytona, Talladega. But the one difference about Atlanta is the tires do get slick, and I think we're gonna see, the type of racing that we see at Daytona and Talladega, but you also gotta watch out for those tires, because once they get slick, it's gonna be hot, I assume, in the session as well. So we can really see some wrecks happen just because of um, just hot, slick tires. Somebody getting a little sideways from that. Um, it's gonna be interesting, but I think we're in for a great show regardless.
Someone who doesn't want to have issues with the hot slick tires is Ethan Fonseca Moreno. He comes into this race, Josh, 11th in points, 3 points out of a chase position. A little bit left in the season, but we're going to talk to him here in just a moment, hear his thoughts on tonight's race. What do you think about Ethan, though, before we get him in here? What do you think about his chances tonight?
Yeah, I've really become a fan of EFM, Ethan Fonseca Moreno. I think he's a fast driver. He's proved it. I've talked about him a couple of times on other pre-shows that we have done, where I think It's not a matter of if he's going to win; it's a matter of when. He's come close. I think I think he could get it done tonight. I really think he's got just as good of a shot out there as really anybody else. But I think tonight could be the night he gets it done.
All right, let's hear what he has to say. Hey, Ethan, you got a copy?
Hello.
Hey, Ethan, how you doing?
I'm good. Just getting ready for this race.
So, it's Atlanta tonight. Track that drives like a super speedway. What are you looking forward to out there tonight?
Honestly, I'm not really that great at plate tracks, or I kind of consider it a plate track, but you know what I mean. But um, not looking forward too much. Honestly, it's not one of my best tracks. I think when it comes to these type of tracks where things can go wrong quicker, um, I don't know. I get the worst luck there, but I do kind of plan on running in the back a little bit just to be safe. Try to make it to the end, trying to get a solid finish these races because, as you guys can see, I have not had the best luck out there. So just trying to get some points, try to get into the top 10, or you know, get to the finish of them. Try to get into the playoffs, of course, but yeah, just gotta bring home some finishes.
So 135 laps on the slate tonight. what does it take to really run your race and run it to the end to be safe and put yourself in position? Like you said, you want to just kind of hang around there for the early parts.
So really what I'm thinking is probably laying in the back, like in the back of the pack towards maybe just have a gap to the guy who's last in the draft in that pack, just so I can at least stay with the pack a little bit, but keep myself away from other cars. But also gotta have to uh, be ready for any moment whenever something goes wrong, just to get on the brakes and at least try to not lock up so I don't slide right into the pack and crash with them. But yeah, I mean that's my plan. I mean that's all I can really do, just to try and be safe and make it to the end. But anything can happen. So never really safe in any position anyway. So
So we are, coming towards the end of the regular season. You currently sit 11th in points. We've got Atlanta this week. Next week we head to the All Star race, and then only 2 more races after that. Um, how are you looking to really try to finish out the season, the regular season, before heading into the playoffs, um, to gain some momentum?
what are the 2 races after the All-Star break?
They are Dover and Michigan.
Well, I can't just sit around. I'm in 11th, so I need to get more points. If there's bonus points, I'll go and grab them. I gotta push. There's nothing else I can really do besides grab points and get finishes. Um, I think we've had some races this season where we've had some potential to get good finishes, and just didn't go my way, of course. But um, yeah, this is kind of the point in the season where I can't afford those mistakes anymore. To have crashes and all that, and finish in the back, I have to finish them and uh, everything just to go my way. I mean, I missed the playoffs in another league, so it's not enjoyable. So I have to get some finishes, get some points. Um, yeah, top 5 finishes, something like that. But yeah, just need everything to go my way.
Last week at New Hampshire, you survived to the end. A lot of cautions there at the very end. What was that like, just enduring that race, and how much did it help you in the grand scheme of things when it comes to the point outlook heading into this week?
Well, last week was kind of crazy. I went, I think, 3 laps down at some point. Um, I had an incident. I can't remember what it was, but I know I had another one towards the end. I just got to like P4 or something like that, and I got doored into the corner. And at that point, it kind of threw me off, and ended up getting another incident and just completely ruined what could have been a great finish. So that doesn't look good, of course. Um, yeah, but I think from this point on, just gonna have to push, and you know, for those guys who are not leaving me enough respect, might just have to race them a little bit harder. But um, yeah, just gonna have to push to the end. I mean, like I said, just can't afford those bad finishes again. Uh, Dover is not really a great. I mean, it is an all right track for me. I did have a good race in Independence News there, but for these Xfinity cars, I have pretty much no laps on that track. But um, as for Michigan, um, I don't think I have many laps there either. I think they're in um, the recruitment race that they had going on. Uh, I was all right, but I didn't. I kind of left after halfway. But yeah, just try to push to the end. You know, try to make it in the playoffs and make a charge for that championship.
So don't I want to ask you this question, but this is going to be more um, about how do you forget about Kansas and that opening lap at Kansas? Um, things did not go well for you at all. How do you forget about that, leave it in the past, and continue to focus forward?
Well, honestly, I don't like because I think I just keep looking back at it and just seeing how I mess up so bad. Like I tried to, I wasn't even full on the throttle either, just on the corner. I was, you know, half throttle a little bit, or just a little over half throttle, and I was just trying to accelerate because we were just about getting on the straight, and it just went around on me. So, um, I don't know. It's hard to forget, but once I'm in the race, I just don't even think about it anymore. So it's not really an issue for me. It's just, um, I don't know, kind of weird to look back at. It just doesn't happen that often.
All right, and for this next thing, this is actually something that I wanted to uh, bring up and do something fun for Fast Lane. So, um, I've got a trivia question for you, and we're gonna just try some trivia on Fast Lane now. So it's just one question, and of course you don't have to get it right or anything, but this is could be history about the league or the track. In this case, it kind of involves both the league and Atlanta Motor Speedway that we're seeing tonight. So, um, do you know December 6th, 2022, just a few months ago, who won that race was the most recent SJRL Atlanta race winner?
I have no clue, but I'm gonna take a guess that let's see, it can't be Sartaj because he just started this year. So um, I'm gonna guess uh, who is up there? I'm gonna guess Caro.
Dalton Kilroe. It is not. It's actually Dane Cruz, won from the pole. He led the most laps, 41 of the 133 laps there were to run.
Well, believe it or not, I had that name in my mind the whole time, and I don't know why I didn't say it. Yeah,
I think I probably would have said Dalton Kilroe myself had I not had that stat rate in front of me.
yeah. I mean, he's the recent champion, so I mean, for some reason, it's one of those two names that came up. I couldn't think of anybody else. I wanted to think as well Frimpong, but I was like, no, it can't be. But
Well, I think that's about it for you, Adam. Anything
Yeah,
else?
I just wanted to bring up you guys mentioned Kilroe. I just wanted to go back through the results. He ended up seventh in that race at Atlanta a couple months ago. So not a bad finish, but not the finish we would have expected for him, especially on his championship run right there at the end of the season. But yeah, that's going to do it, Ethan. Thanks for joining Fastlane tonight, and good luck in this race tonight, the Fastlane 200 at Atlanta. Hopefully, you are able to use your strategy right and get it to the end and be in contention for the win.
yeah, thanks, guys.
That is Ethan Fonseca Moreno, driver of the 43 car tonight in the Slide Job Racing League. Currently 11th in the points, and we're going to try and see him make his way from the back of the field tonight, Josh.
Yeah, I think it'll be fun. Like mentioned, or like we mentioned already, this track drives so much like a super speedway race. It pretty much has become one. Um, it's it's tough. It really is, and it being more narrow than what we see Daytona or Talladega, it is harder to really get those passes going when you've got drivers running two by two, several rows deep. So it's going to be hard for a lot of drivers, and I know I mentioned those tires already. I'm going to keep mentioning them tonight because I really think, based off my experience here and watching them, in not only real life but in the sim too, just how tough it really is. So I'm excited. I'm really excited for this race. Excited to see what Ethan can do as well.
Yeah, it is going to be interesting. Like we mentioned in that stat, Dane Cruz led the most laps from the pole position to win that race a couple months ago in December. Same track at Atlanta. So I'm going to be curious to see if not the same guy, but see if someone is able to put on a similar performance to that tonight.
Yeah, I think one, you're gonna have to really be good at this style of racing if you want to, um, be up there, have a chance at it. But time and time again, these races they prove that it's just about being there at the end. It's all about survival. So we'll see. We'll definitely see.
All right, now it's time for our next driver to join. It's the fifth place guy in the championship right now, Caden Atkins, driver of the 2 car. Let's get him in here. Hey, Caden, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, Atlanta tonight, how much are you looking forward to this, if at all? Should be a pretty intense race at the front of the field. What are your expectations?
Well, I'm just hoping that I can be there to the end of the race and not get caught up in some silly wreck. But yeah, it should be pretty intense since we are coming up on the playoffs. But I'm inside the playoffs right now, so just hoping to add another top 5 or top 10 to my tally.
So when we come to these style of races, I know there's drivers that prefer to be in the back, right around, let uh, guys up front race pretty hard. Those in the back are thinking that they'll gain positions by drivers wrecking, and then we got the drivers that are up front. They just want to be up there controlling the race. When we come to these races, and now with Atlanta, do you approach Atlanta kind of the same way you would approach a Daytona or Talladega race, whether it be riding around in the back or trying to be up front?
Well, if I'm being honest with you, every time I try and run in the back, I end up in some wreck anyways, and it's no fun riding in the back. So last season at this race, me, Dane, and Dylan all ran up front. The whole PPM group was up front the whole race, and it paid off because Dane won the race. So, and at Daytona, we all decided to be conservative and stay in the back, and we all ended up wrecking. And the TRR guys, since Sartaj and them all, dominated and finished in the top 5. So, yeah, clearly the strategy is going to be run up front. Plus, if we can control the lanes, then you don't have to worry about getting wrecked, because it's that like 7th to 17th ish group of drivers that always end up wrecking usually, or it's the people who hang in the back and then wait till 10 to go to the front. So then everybody's trying to go to the front at the same time. And then, not everybody can be up front at the same time. So that's when you have those aggressive moves that lead to, crashes and stuff. So today's definitely strategy is going to be run up front if we can, and hopefully come home with a win.
What's it going to take tonight to get that win? 135 laps. It's going to be pretty, like we mentioned, pretty intense up at the front. Are you worried about green flag pit stops at all, or are you worried about a lot of cautions like we saw last week, or what's the biggest mindset other than being caught up in some incident when we get down to the middle portion of this race and it's kind of in the rhythm?
Oh, definitely green flag pit stops, because this league does have a habit of having cautions around green flag pit stops. But to add on top of that, I did both Road to Pro and NIS at Atlanta, a week ago or 2 weeks ago, whatever it was, and both times there was a wreck coming to pit road. So because it's just the there's way less room to get on pit road here, and it's a pack race. So I mean that's why NASCAR changed the pit entry in real life, but obviously we don't have that here. So it'll definitely be interesting to see. I think we did have an incident coming to pit road last season. Sorry. I'm not sure though. But yeah, definitely green flag pit stops will be very tricky. But yeah, controlling the lanes in Road to Pro and NAS paid off, so I think it's going to pay off tonight if we can get there.
Next week we focus on a different shift of things. We go from focusing on points racing and being in the regular season to going out there racing in an all-star race. So past tonight, going into the all-star race, is that something that you're looking forward to?
I think it'll be fun. It's an interesting track. It's a season 1 throwback. I haven't driven there since season 1 or 2 of this league, because I mean back then it was just we ran mostly free tracks, and that happened to be one, so we reran there. And it'll definitely, hopefully it's fun. I don't know how. I guess it will be a smaller field. Noah hasn't fully fleshed out the details yet, but it won't be a full 30 car field, so hopefully we have some good racing next week. But I'm definitely looking forward to it, and pretty sure there's money on the line. I'm not sure, I don't remember, but that's also adds an extra bonus to it. But it's nice to just go out and race and not have to worry about the points like we for next week. So yeah.
And
Yes.
to real quick, Adam, if I may, and just to clarify, that is at Concord Speedway. It's where
Yes.
the All-Star race is at.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
going to be exciting next week. I'm looking forward to that. I'm a big fan of that track, or what used to be that track now in real life. But that should be exciting next Tuesday on the sim. But what I was going to mention is going back to the points talk. You're pretty comfortable with looking at it. 5th in points, I would seem comfortable, but you're just 15 above the cut pretty much. The next guy out. How much is that going to play into your mind tonight and the next 2 races when we come back off the off weeks at Dover and Michigan?
Yeah, I'm definitely not safe, but if I just do my job and finish well, even if I have a bad race today, Dover and Michigan are 2 tracks I know I can compete at, and if I come out tonight with a win, top 5, top 10, any good amount of points, I'll be happy, and it'll just make my life that much easier heading into Dover and Michigan, because I'd like to have a bigger cushion, and if I can do that today, that just relieves some pressure. But if I have to wait till Dover and Michigan to do that, then that's fine for me.
So you're coming off a 2nd place finish last week at New Hampshire. What was the end of that race like, and what was the finish like? It was a pretty exciting end of the race after all what happened with all the overtimes. What was it like from the driver's seat of the 2 car?
It was kind of frustrating, honestly, because I got to Dylan's. There was one restart that I could have passed him and taken the lead and probably won the race because of it. Because I got a really good turn 1 and 2, and I was still on his outside into 3 and 4, but I overdrove it, and then I lost it all. So then it was just restart, 2nd, get a good run into 3, but by then good run into turn 1, and try and hang on Dylan's door. But at that point, the tires just didn't hold up out there anymore. So Dylan just had the preferred lane. He knew it, but he still gave me the countdown on the restart so that we could, because we were both on old tires. So, but yeah, it was definitely still frustrating that I couldn't really do much after that one restart where I almost had a power move to the lead.
Alrighty, for this next question I have for you, something that pretty new for us, doing a trivia question, kind of a new segment. Just got one question for you for this week, but something I think is a fun addition to our Fast Lane podcast. So the question I have for you is a Slide Jawb Racing League trivia question. So March 16th, 2019 was the first time Slide Jawb visited Atlanta to see Slide Jawb Racing League Premier Series. So who was the winner from that race?
Okay. That would be... Sorry, what was the date again?
March 16th, 2019.
Okay. That's season 3. Oh, that's Bryson Clark, isn't it?
It is not.
It isn't? Oh, wait, that was Texas. It's Frank DiMaggio.
Frank DiMaggio from the pole led 135 of the 168 laps in the season 3 race en route to championship.
That's my boy. He was on my old team, Full Send Racing, back then. He carried us to the team championship that season.
All right, Caden, thanks for participating in Fastlane Trivia and joining Fastlane tonight.
Thank you for having me.
All right, well, good luck tonight in the Fastlane 200 at Atlanta. Should be a show. We're going to be looking for that 2-car up front tonight.
All right, thank you.
And that is Caden Atkins, driver of the number 2 in Slide Jawb Premier Series. Going to see him in about half an hour on the JCTV Parade show, and about 45 minutes for the race, Josh. It's going to be pretty exciting. We see now some practice going on here at Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Yeah, drivers are getting on track, just taking some laps, trying to figure out how the car is going to handle. Because now this is it. You know, this is a race, the practice session that we're going to be in. So just trying to get a feel for what the track is going to be like, the weather, and I think this is the most important laps that they're taking right now.
Ethan, before we brought him in here, what do you think about Caden's chances tonight? Now that we got to speak to him, he seems pretty confident tonight about wanting to score some points and wanting to be up front and controlling the races like we hear a lot of drivers have coming into these plate style race tracks.
Yeah, and you know, it's a difference, really, like I talked about. Drivers that want to be up front, drivers that want to be back. And for me personally, I want to be a guy that's up front and trying to control this race. If I can't control the race, I want to be up front in that lead pack, riding around maybe 3rd, 4th, in line. Let the laps click by, So I think if Caden is going to do that, like he was talking about his plan with his team, if he can do that, I think that, as long as everything goes to plan, we're going to see him there at the end. And he could very well end up with a checkered flag. I think he's got the strategy going.
Yeah, he finished second in the Daytona Duo race, one of the Daytona Duo races we saw a couple of months ago right here on JCTV, and was one of the contenders in the iRacing Funny 250, but one of the many, many drivers involved in an incident, trying to avoid that tonight, like we heard him say a little bit ago. So it's going to be interesting to see these guys back on a plate style track. Josh, this isn't something we really didn't talk about a whole lot with those guys, but that Daytona race was a straight up crash fest, and there were a lot of talks after that race about just how disappointing it was to see the lack of green flag runs. And this is something we saw in real life races here in Atlanta last weekend. Do you think we're going to see a lot of wrecks tonight?
You saying that blocked that, or what are you trying to say there?
I don't think so, because I think drivers are more familiar with each other.
What'd you say, Anthony?
They've got
I said you put.
Almost half a season under their belt with each other. That I think they're comfortable with each other.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, very good point. That opening race, a lot of new names added to the roster to open season 10, and it was the first full race with a full field of drivers. That was a lot of things we talked about in the early episodes of Fast Lane. So hopefully it works out tonight, but this is being 1 mile shorter racetrack could be interesting, a lot narrower in the corners. But we shall see tonight in about 40 minutes time before we go a little bit green. So for those watching on YouTube right now in the chat, let us know who your picks are for tonight's Fastlane 200. Josh and I will give ours a little bit later in tonight's broadcast with Dawson Allen.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, it's going to be hard. This is a racetrack that it is really hard to get a pick to win. So, yeah, I'm curious to know who you guys' picks are. May help me with mine because I'm clueless. I have no idea who I am going to pick for tonight, who I think will be the guy that actually gets it done tonight.
Well, Josh, I think that's going to do it for our first edition of Fastlane Live. Glad we got to talk to a couple drivers, and pretty fun episode, I think, here previewing this Atlanta Motor Speedway race. Hopefully, it is a pretty exciting show, and I'm glad we got to talk about the Dew Invitation a little bit here.
Yeah, this has been fun. Looking forward to more editions of Fastlane Live. Different, because everything we've done beforehand has been pre-recorded. So this time, doing this live, raw feedback. This has been fun. Getting a couple of fast thoughts from drivers. So yeah, I've enjoyed this. Had fun.
Yep, so we're going to get ready to race at Atlanta Motor Speedway, of course. 8:45 p.m. Eastern, about when we're going to go live with Dawson Allen, Josh Coppernoll, and Adam Coon for the Fastlane 200 right here at Atlanta. It's going to be one heck of a show, definitely at the end. I'm sure it has been every week in Jawb Racing League Season 10. So with that, we're going to take a quick break and get ready for the race in about 20 minutes for the broadcast.